All right, and we are now live on episode one of the Sweet Science TV channel on YouTube, where it's all about boxing and culture and fans. I'll be your host, and as we did in the previous channel, we'll be incorporating Ravi Kadambi. So, Ravi,
Hey,
any thoughts for the people?
we're looking forward to. We did this a little while ago, but we're gonna bring it back stronger than ever. So yeah, this is gonna be our straight up first podcast. So let's get it rolling.
Yeah, we'll count this one as the first one, but YouTube was giving us some difficulties. And now I'll also finally introduce the highly anticipated Melagod. Melagod is now joining us live,
Yo, yo.
back from his travels. So we're gonna go ahead. We'll get into the weekend. There was a lot of things that went on. We got the Terence Crawford fight with Khan, but first I want to jump into the fight that everyone also seemed to have watched, which was the fight between Danny Garcia and Adrian Granados. So Adrian Granados is pretty much a tomato can. There's no other way to
Yeah,
look at it.
he's a bum.
It was an easy fight, in my opinion. What's everyone else's thoughts on what they saw? If you saw it, what you saw, and what do you think of Top Rank right now?
I I think that was a straight up gimme fight for Garcia. Granados repping Chicago.
Which
That was
fight?
cool. We're talking about the Garcia Granados fight that was on Fox on Saturday. So it kind of overlapped before the pay per view fight.
I think
Um,
they were on at the
That was
same
a
time,
mismatch.
maybe.
That was a
yeah, I had to come. I had to rewatch that on YouTube. They had the fight online. So yeah, Garcia kind of got to him, dug in, and Granados had no chance.
Absolutely no chance.
got
The guy was completely
got
lost,
to
in
him
my opinion.
early. How old is this kid?
You said what? What was the question?
He said, "How old
This
are these
young kid.
fighters?"
Granados is like 29 maybe, and Danny Garcia is definitely 31. That I do know for a fact.
Also, a note about Granados is he's fought some of the top guys and always lost. So keep that in mind with Granados. He's a guy who's just kind of floating around, getting still collecting money, but losing big fights against good fighters like Garcia,
Correct.
like Porter, and I believe Thurman may have got him too. All the big names got this guy, so he just completed the cycle of getting got by that division. So
As
he
usual.
collecting the check though. So repping Chicago, South Side.
Yep. So you saw the fight. Thoughts? Anything?
Danny Garcia's in line for a big fight coming up. I think he's ready. He's ready to get. He's got his mind right. He needs to get a big fight. He should fight Pacquiao or any of the big names.
Pacquiao might be too much for him.
I disagree, but yeah,
You think he could beat Pacquiao's
Think he got a
ass?
bright future. He put up a great effort.
I just think Pacquiao's past that point. He's a great fighter. He showed it, but Garcia has the power to put him down.
True, true, true. Um, Harris, did you watch that fight, or were you watching another fight?
Now, I watched the fight. Kid's got a good future. He put up a big effort. Garcia definitely has a lot of fans. He's trying to get on a player like Money Mayweather, but we'll see what his future has in hold. He's 29, so
Yep, it's true. And yeah, that fight was pretty, in my opinion, was very anticlimactic. There was not a lot to offer. A lot of people were talking about how the zone does cherry pick their fights for these boxers, but Danny Garcia was not finding anyone who was worth
I
really
I want
bringing
to
to the table.
I want to jump in there real quick. I think the fight, I can defend that it was worth it for the fact that Garcia, if you like carnage, Garcia, Garcia thoroughly abused Granados. He knocked him down twice because I watched it 2 times. He knocked him down, I believe, twice in the second round. Total of 3 times. He got knocked down again in the fifth. And
he got blown away.
Yeah,
He got
think
blown
that's when
away.
the ref had to save him. He could have called it, but sick part of the boxing fan in me, the kid in me, wanted the fight to keep going and him to get abused more. But the ref needed to check himself after letting Granados take the extra couple rounds, or his corner actually too. His corner could throw in the towel at any time. So let's keep this in mind, folks. For those who don't know, your corner man sees you getting abused, can always throw the towel and save your ass, because some of the fighters would let themselves die in the ring.
Let him bleed. Just let him bleed.
So you check that corner, man.
Wow.
Yeah, that fight. There's not much to take away from that fight. Honestly, I feel like.
Con fight. I know
You said what?
it was much better than a con fight, which isn't hard to do.
Exactly. Harris
Yeah,
is a good point.
that's a good segue into the Crawford Khan fight. What's everyone's thoughts there, Robbie? I know you on our previous channel. You were a big supporter of Khan.
Luckily, we don't have those videos anymore. We don't
We
have
do
that
not have
evidence
those videos.
anymore.
The footage is now
The
gone.
footage is destroyed. But I'll own it. I'll I thought Khan maybe had one last gasp of fighting him, and I was completely wrong. I think the Canelo fight probably ended his career, and the Crawford fight was like after you were granted a second life after getting eaten alive
I
by a
think
lion.
after that first round knockdown,
It was kind of
he was ready to get up out of there. After that first round knockdown, he was ready.
I think he was looking to the side. I rewatched that a second time, and I saw after he got knocked down, Harris, that he was looking to the outside, maybe to his corner or something like, when are we gonna get this? Get me out of here! Get me the fuck out of here!
I did see the face of. You said what?
It was a business decision to get out to not get hurt. So that's
Yeah, well, it was a big business decision for him to try to get a payday. Then there was the controversial crotch shot heard around the world. Do you guys think that was a legitimate crotch shot? Do you legitimately think he bled urine afterwards, or was that just his ticket out the game?
Nobody needs to know those details because there's no other way he can prove it besides showing a fucking picture of it. So nobody even really needs to know, because it was a low blow, but that wasn't what ended the fucking fight. Replay shows it, man. Replay shows it. That's all you got right there. You look at his face, and then you see the replay of the shot, and you can just come to the conclusion.
Harris, what do you think of the?
A lot of people don't realize. I mean, Khan had 5 minutes to take to himself and respond. He didn't have to immediately make a decision, and he did. He told his corner, "Hey, I'm not ready to continue." I don't know why he didn't take the full 5 minutes, but
that is also not completely
hey,
true. Virgil Hunter threw in the towel for him, but he was nodding, like agreeing. So I guess both of them.
Yeah,
he did, and his corner did. So combination.
After the fight, both people were asked. So they asked Virgil Hunter who threw in the towel. Virgil Hunter said Amir Khan said I quit. Then they asked Amir Khan what happened. Then Amir Khan said that Virgil Hunter told him to stop the fight. So they're both lying. Somebody's lying. And I'm going to go ahead and believe Virgil Hunter. I'm going to go ahead and believe him.
I think he should have just took the heat, but he didn't want to for Amir Khan because he's a bitch.
Virgil Hunter's like, I got a future as a trainer.
I got other fighters. I can't
have that.
This guy who's gone after
this guy's gone. Harris, how does this reflect on the?
Came out pretty strong. So,
how does this reflect on the Daisy community who's looking for a boxing savior? What are your thoughts on that?
Oh, damn! That's not a question for me. So,
I think it is.
I think it is as well.
I don't think it reflects on the whole community. It's just one of their best showing his heart.
That's fair. That's fair. Yeah,
I agree. Have to offer shows his heart.
Fair take.
He showed his heart or his ass, but he showed it both, whatever it is,
Showed
on
both.
TV.
He showed a little bit of everything. He showed a
And
little bit
then
of
he
everything.
took the check and got the fuck out of Madison Square Garden like a
I mean,
bandit.
boxing's about overcoming, and he
It
did not
is.
overcome anything.
And
No
that
obstacles
happens.
are allowed.
It happens all the time, but I felt like there was people expecting Khan to put up a fight, and they were like
happens all the
myself.
time.
And it happens. He was done. No more legs. What do you think, Efren? How do you feel about the fight? How do you feel about Khan?
In general, I feel like any con fight is an exciting fight to watch. Primarily for me because I am anticipating some sort of vicious knockout or at least some entertainment in the fight. And it seemed that's where the fight was headed after the first round when he went down. I don't know if it was more so a slip or if it was like legit. The guy was like really messed up at that point. But either way, Crawford warmed down, and once his face was like lacerated, the crotch shot happened. And
It
I
was
think
like
at that point,
a little exit.
I think at that point he was banking on a DQ, disqualification, call the fight. You know what I'm saying? Maybe
or no decision or a draw,
no
no decision.
decision, just
Which
but
they could have called if he waited a full 5 minutes, maybe. I don't know.
but
I don't know how that works.
at that point they go to the scorecards, and
And it was a beating.
it was a beating. So he basically was trapped. He made a move of
He
desperation,
He
and
could have won the third round. I'm sorry. Maybe he won one.
he
Maybe a
might
half
have
run.
he might have won one. It would have been a unanimous decision though for Crawford either way.
Yeah, it was bad.
And
It was
maybe they should
bad.
have gone to the cards as opposed to
Oh,
quitting.
yeah,
But
100%.
so yeah, it is what it is at that point. So, do you think that Khan will fight another fight against someone, another match?
Yeah, he's gonna fight another fight. He said it. I think they should stop him. Maybe his family or somebody should step in, or maybe he should get another trainer because Virgil Hunter seems to just be getting paid. You can see through. Virgil Hunter doesn't believe in him, and Andre Ward on the broadcast kind of alluded to it, kind of shitting on Khan a little bit. Like, well, I mean, Virgil Hunter,
I
you
don't
can't
see-
change him. He can't change the fighter. He can't make him great. So maybe Khan should fight a bum and then quit.
Maybe Khan should
I
fight a
don't see how
bum.
you sell this fight. How do you sell an Amir Khan fight after that showing?
Can't.
After what he showed, how do you sell
Maybe
it?
regular TV. I've heard those guys make money.
What about if they fed him
Yeah, this is
to?
a lot of TV.
Fed him to a wolf, another wolf. Is that what
What if
you're
they?
fucking
What if
alluding
they fed
to?
him? What if they fed him to like a Ryan Garcia type fight? They could,
Ooh.
'cause he's
Ooh.
still relevant enough of a name,
Ooh,
but someone could fight him as they're going up.
fast hands versus fast hands.
That would be a great
Amir Khan
speed
versus
match.
Ryan Garcia.
Now-
that's bullshit, dude. That's a bullshit sell now.
It can't be a headliner. It has to be an undercard.
Yeah, an
Oh, man.
undercard
He's
to a
falling.
real fight. That would be legit.
When I think the last time he was champion, he was
Yeah.
like 26, so he's never really.
That would be legit.
Well, 8 years, a long time ago, man. Khan was good, like
Well,
back when we
6
were in like the dorms and shit.
Yeah, well, that time period is now over. So
He's not good anymore, man.
now, what do you expect for Terence Crawford moving forward? Because obviously, it was more so about him that fight, and he did make a statement in a way. But what is your take?
Man, that dude's ice cold, man. Something that you see in his eyes. This guy's gloves look stronger than the other guys. He's tough. I don't know who could beat him. Errol Spence, that would be a great fight for us who like boxing, but I don't feel like their names are. How is it this fight sold probably a bunch of fights, a bunch of pay-per-views? Probably because Khan's bum ass. He's a name. For some reason, people buy it. So Crawford, Spence, you need something better. Like you need him to whoop somebody decent. Then you can set up the fight. You need people to notice Errol Spence more as well.
Yeah, and I don't think Crawford and Earl Spencer. I don't see Crawford getting on Earl Spencer's level quite yet. I think he needs some more fights, more personality. Because Crawford
more personality.
He's like
more personality. I agree.
Oklahoma. He has no base. There's no
has
base
nothing
in
to
that
say.
heartland of America. So
Yeah, I agree.
he's not
Nothing
from
to
New York.
say.
He's
Not
from
interesting.
LA, Chicago,
Not
Miami.
interesting.
Yeah, I
Not
think
from Dallas, so.
I think that would be a good match, but you have to be like a pure boxing fan to want to see that match. But for like the occasional fan that
Oh yeah,
does the pay-per-view, that's going to be kind of a hard sell
you're
unless
not
you're
gonna
like
sell
really
that fight.
informed.
The
Yeah.
old school promoters say we all shit on them, all these guys, Bob Arum and such, but they know what they're talking about. Selling a fight is different than actually the best fight possible. So some of the guys, you got to have maybe a great Latino fighter moving up or moving down. You got to have something. I want Crawford to test himself, move up, maybe fight a Canelo, gain some weight. He can put on weight if he wanted to move up. He's that dude. That dude can put on weight. I think Crawford can fight.
He could
So if
probably
he
put
wants
because
to
he would just need to put
sugar
on
Ray,
like
Well,
7
he's
more
Ray
better to put
Leonard
on some
his
more weight to
ass.
move up. Huh?
Sugar Ray Leonard did it.
All he has to do is put on 7 more pounds, and he could be,
Seven
in
more,
that
right? It's
realm.
close. It's close.
7, 8 more pounds, and he's in there at 155.
And he has the power to
That
fight
would
at
be
that weight.
possible.
He can fight at that weight. It just depends if he wants to. But that's the money fight if he were to move up. Because Canelo is a name. He's got a brand. Crawford don't really fucking have a
Oh yeah,
brand. So
Yeah,
Canelo Crawford. Wow,
that would be a
be
mega
like that's
fight,
Cinco de
dude.
Mayo
That
next
would be
year.
one of the greatest cards
Cinco
you
de
can
Mayo
find,
2020.
dude. Because Crawford would be the dog in that fight. Best fucking believe Canelo would be the favorite.
He's moving up in weight.
He's moving up
So
in weight, but the thing is, people would, the gambling perspective, you would pick Crawford because you're like, damn, this guy hasn't shown me he could lose.
yeah,
So
that's true. Well, we'll see.
yeah,
he
We'll see
hasn't
what
been
happens with
tested. I
that.
want to see him tested. Bottom line, I
Yeah,
want to see
I don't.
both
I
of these
don't think
guys
he's really
tested.
been tested. Um, so at the end of the day, though, who do you believe is still the number one pound for pound top boxer? Is it Crawford or is it Lomachenko? They both recently fought. Where does that stand?
Lomachenko is the best pound for pound, I believe, because he's been hurt.
I
He
think it's probably
actually has been
Lomachenko.
knocked down.
I don't know much.
Okay, so well,
Yeah,
if you can
Lomachenko's been
exclude
tested.
him if you haven't seen him, but what do you think, Harris? I think Lomachenko because he has been hurt, but he hasn't really lost, but he's been knocked down, but he's still won a lot of fights and he's tough. Efren, who do you think?
I think in regards to those two, Crawford in the fight against Khan just showed me that he could beat somebody's ass, but that's something that Danny Garcia did. That's something that Teofimo Lopez did. That's not really something that sets him apart in my eyes. But with Lomachenko, when I saw that fight he had, it was like
It
masterful.
was a great
Like the way
fight.
he
The
cut
way
off
he
the
beat
ring, the way he moved.
Corolla or
Yeah, the way he beat
Corolla.
Krola was disgusting.
That was
He,
a great, just
it
that's
was
those kind of fights
masterful.
are fun to watch where a guy just stalks. It's almost like a just hunting, watching an animal that's a greater predator just slowly pick
Eat.
apart and then eventually eat. He knows he can eat right away, but he doesn't want to risk it, and he'll eat right when he needs to.
He eats when he gets
Lomachenko,
hungry.
Lomachenko, man, that's the way. That fight is fun. So for you guys out there, check it out on YouTube. The
Anthony
Lomachenko,
Corolla, Lomachenko.
Corolla. Not endorsing any. I'm pretty sure YouTube enforces all their piracy stuff, copyright stuff. So they got it online for you to watch. Check it out.
It can be found. It could
It can be
definitely be
found
found.
very easily as most of these fights that we were talking about. So if you guys haven't seen none of these fights, please just YouTube them, check it out, catch up with us.
Yeah, Lomachenko.
Yeah, I think Lomachenko.
Go ahead. Go.
Plus,
Harris is gonna go blow his nose, but yeah, Lomachenko definitely took over that fight, and that dude had no chance. Some people say that Lomachenko was fighting someone who was of a way inferior level, but if you look at that guy's record, Krola, he he's won before, so he's not a complete waste, and he would have been a decent match, except that Lomachenko super outperformed him as he does everybody else.
and he
So that's
circled
just
them.
what it is.
He circles guys really well. I love that technique. All the great fight. I noticed that with young Ryan Garcia. even just in general, young or old, the great fighters can circle guys and catch guys from different angles. Lomachenko may be the best in the world. Crawford may be second best in the world. Spence
Yeah,
is
I think it
somewhere
still
lurking
stays.
around there.
I think my ranking still stays with Lomachenko 1, Crawford 2 still, and I
Yeah.
guess Canelo's at 3. That's just the
I
one,
think
2, 3.
Canelo's got to be above Spence, in my
Okay.
opinion. He's fought
Yeah,
better fighters.
Spence needs to fight one other big name, and I think I'll put him up there. So, but Spence is doing well. Um,
Spence
with
Alvarez, Crawford Alvarez. Those are the promoters' fights, though. I mean, that's kind of you need something to offset the other. You just can't have two guys who are more unknown be the
Yeah,
big
I think
fight.
it's time. I think there's been a lot of one-sided fights lately, and I think that's just setting up for a big summer and a big fall of mega fights to come. That's my
Summer's
opinion.
Summer's incredible for a big fight.
Yep.
Ever since I can remember.
And speaking of the summer, or close to the summer, there was going to be a fight June 1st between Anthony Joshua and Miller. What is everyone's take? Jarrell Miller, obviously he tested positive a couple times
Wow.
for different substances. Harris, what is your view on this fight? Were you looking forward to the fight? Where do they go from now, from here, basically? And who would you like to see
Yeah.
Joshua
I
replace
was
him with?
definitely looking forward to it.
Yeah,
Well, firstly, I think a suspension is in order for Jerome Miller. Unfortunately, he's got to be suspended for a series of years. Unfortunately,
And a
but
hefty
I was looking
fine.
forward to the fight. It's going to be on a home soil in New York. What?
And a hefty fine for him because of all the culmination of things getting put together for the fight that
Well,
he's
yeah,
causing.
he's already lost out on that payday. That was like a life changing payday for
He's
him.
affected
Being
other
out of New
people
York,
too.
so that was stupid.
Yep.
His
He's an
whole team, the
embarrassment.
whole. I mean, Brooklyn really invested a lot of money in him, and wow.
You
But
don't want to
I'd
mess
say
with
that
the New York
Jerome Miller's got a
Commission
good.
of Boxing.
No, not at all. Definitely not. That's a nice venue. It's close to England, so you're going to have a lot of English fans come, and they already bought their airfares. They already bought the tickets. From what I understand, in New
That's
York, if the main
terrible.
event changes, the patrons are able to get their money back if the main event changes. So that's the New York law that's going to help out the fans a little bit. But think
That's
about the
good.
airfare and the hotels that these guys know. But
Hopefully
yeah, I
some
think
some
it's
kind of
time for
refunds.
Anthony Miller to fight. I think it's time for Joshua to fight Ortiz. I mean, he's been dodging him for a while, and I think it's time to stop anything
Yep.
Cuban.
yeah, I think
Ortiz
you could
is
fight.
tough, man. Ortiz is a tough dude. I remember we was a while back. We saw him fight. We were kind of
Wilder, that was
talking about,
Wilder.
and I'm like, this guy Ortiz is just tough, man. He can take punches. It's scary how much that
Yeah,
guy
he
can
can
take a
fight. He's a
punch.
good fighter.
But he has a chin. He just has a chin, so he can fight. I like Ortiz. I agree. He's
I
a good
think
fighter.
I think that would be a good substitute. I don't know if he's physically ready or where he stands with
I
everything,
wanted a
but
substitute fight, but maybe they're
Yeah,
not going to do that anymore since they're giving refunds.
and I'm sure the zone is also very upset because
yeah. I don't know
this
what
was
they're gonna
supposed
do.
this was supposed to be like their big Anthony Joshua summer fight, attract
Oh,
more
really?
fans to the zone, and
Welcome to America.
and now that's all gone because Jarrell Miller got scared and took some performance enhancing drugs.
Do we know? Do we know off the top? Anybody want to Google machine that while we move on? What the drugs were?
What?
What the drugs were in Big Baby's system?
I
We'll
think
check
it
on
was
that.
HGH or something.
Yeah,
I
I'll look
forgot.
it up.
So Harris will pull that up. But yeah, it's not looking good for the zone. I know, Ravi, you're not a big fan of the zone.
I
Um,
like it. I like it. I like the vault. I like just being able to study fighters and stuff like that. That's cool. But we're talking about real fights coming up. When are we going to see a real fight?
yeah, I don't think anytime soon. Other than, of course, the Canelo Jacobs fight. That's a real fight to me. That's going to be 50-50. But I don't want to really jump into that fight yet. I want to save that one for next week's episode as we build into that big fight. I was going to say pay-per-view, but it's not
Yeah.
pay-per-view thanks to the zone and their OG price.
Man, I had a
So
dream Canelo just beat the crap out of Jacobs, just
yeah,
put him down. So
it's gonna
I
be a
think
tough one.
that's gonna be a tough for Jacobs.
It's gonna be.
Let's
I
leave it.
think. Yeah, it's gonna be an interesting thing, but we're gonna table that topic until next week. And the zone again has a lot of footage, uh, building up for the fight. A lot of like little mini documentaries.
That's what it's good for.
Yeah, I just saw one produced by Golden Boy Promotions about their families, so it goes more in depth into both of their families and their children, like just trying to get you emotionally invested. So, speaking of the zone though, they had a big signing with Triple G. I don't know if everyone's heard the announcement. Triple G will be fighting
Keep
soon,
hydrated over here.
and Triple G
Jeez.
will be fighting unknown 35-year-old Canadian man named Steve Rolls. He's 19-0. Thoughts on
Uh,
this potential fight, and more so, uh, what's going on with the zone in regards to that promotion? Because mind you, Triple G's, I'd say he's regarded in the top 5 boxers in the sport. Steve Rolls is
yeah.
basically ranked around 93 to 100, so lopsided.
First and foremost, who the fuck is this guy Triple G is fighting?
No one knows.
A tomato can.
Bum. Tomato can.
Can life.
Ragu.
He is
Straight up
ragu.
ragu.
Ragu pop.
Triple G is about to make some pasta in the ring.
Damn. What comes after this? Let's just let. I don't even want to talk about what's the whatever rolls or whatever his name is.
I give him 2 rounds.
Who comes after that? That's the thing.
I think after that it's gonna be Triple G. Or
He needs a big fight before he retires.
I think it's gonna be again Triple G Canelo round 3. I think they're
That
gonna
needs
set
to
that one up.
happen. That needs to happen because both guys take beatings in those fights, and we like watching those. Anybody likes watching that.
It's like Rock'em Sock'em Robots. Like they're both gonna collide,
And they want
and
to
they're
hit
both
each other.
and they want to
get
hit each other.
by each other.
They like the
each other.
drama. They
They
like the drama.
show. The drama show.
Harris, what's your take on this big fight? Well, not so big of a fight, but what's your take on this on this Triple G fight with this guy Steve Rolls, Canadian guy, 19-0.
I'm just
That's all
happy
we
they're gonna
really
fight
know.
in Madison Square Garden. I mean, I think that's a great venue to be in. No matter
Excellent
what.
venue. Excellent venue.
I think the zone has some sort of like contract with that
Something
place.
like that. It should be a good sell, and people love Triple G.
Yeah, Triple G. I think he's gonna come out victorious, obviously, from that fight. But
Let's talk about New York, though. New York is coming back for boxing, and that's the mecca of boxing. We got Barclays Center, we got Madison Square Garden. Let's go.
The same time zone almost. So hey,
I think
it's not Las Vegas.
I think the zone has changed boxing, not just for getting rid of pay-per-view, but yeah, for the venues. Because most fights at that point or prior to the zone was all Vegas fights, and now there's been a big momentum switch where everything's being pushed to New York. I think New York's like their base. That's where all their other little shows are based out of. So I think this is
most of the
boxing.
home bases for the organizations are in New York as well. So maybe that actually kind of helps these companies as well.
I think it's a power move, a power business move.
And LA is a good place to. Staples Center is also growing
Staples Center
for big fights.
Yep, Staples Center is a good place for fights. They do funerals there.
I like it for the proving ground. We want to
rest in peace, Nip.
We want to say rest in
peace, Nip. Yo, but obviously it shows that place is versatile and can also host fights in the near future. Maybe they'll have Joshua start off in New York and then move him over to Cali, eat off that fan base, and just help generate more subscribers for the zone.
The zone. Hey, I don't want to get my words twisted. The zone is up and coming. It's only going to get better. I foresee them charging for the big fights though on pay-per-view. They'll have a DAZN pay-per-view. It'll change.
That's what happened with the ESPN app I have. No, I was just gonna say the ESPN app I have. I got to pay monthly, and then when I wanted the fight to watch the fight with Crawford and Khan, it's not like the zone where it's included. I had to actually pay full price for the pay-per-view still. So I don't think the
Wow.
zone will go to that point, but I think it'll get to the point where maybe they charge $20 for a mega fight. I don't know, but little by little, it'll just start creeping back up in there because they need to make their money back.
Yeah.
So that's just
Yeah.
my
If they
view.
invested millions of dollars, they got to start charging. It's called microtransactions in the PlayStation 4 world. So you're going to be paying micro payments to increase the tiers. So we'll see.
That
We'll
makes
see.
sense. Yeah, you kind of give fight fans a little couple breadcrumbs, maybe a little sandwich, and then or maybe a soup, and
Yeah.
then you give them a meal. Then you got to charge them for that meal because you hooked them up. So
Charge them.
you can't have
Yep.
that meal for free. The big fights that are gonna generate revenue. So I mean, there's no problem as long as you get those big fights going. People will buy big fights. That's one misconception
Oh
about
yeah.
boxing. People will pay. I have no problem buying a big fight, but I just have a problem with these fights they want to sell to us like the Khan Crawford bullshit. You want to sell it to us like it's something special, and it's not.
It's
It ended worse than we thought it could end. It's just
yeah.
shitty.
I think it would have been better if he got
We
knocked
should have
out
knocked
or
him
went out
out.
the way. Just the way it ended was so awkward, and that pay-per-view was literally like
They
$70, $80. So that
they
was a
deserved
waste.
it. They deserve that weird ending.
Yeah, it was a horrible
Strange
fight.
ending.
It was very strange. It was
It was a
anticlimactic.
disappointment.
Yep. So
A big disappointment.
But I'm not calling out fighters as punks or bitches, but that was just a stupid matchup and a stupid sell. So they got Top Rank. Y'all got to do better. If anybody representatives are watching, Top Rank needs to do better.
and that's another thing. The one thing I don't like about
Uh,
watching those fights on Top Rank's ESPN channel or that app Fight TV, the commentators were like sweating Top Rank and how amazing Top Rank is, and it's like I don't need to hear that. I don't need to hear you
The
lie to
fights
me. Don't
sell
lie
your
to me.
brand. The fights
Yeah,
sell your brand.
yes, the fights talk. Not. I don't need commentators to push a fight that's not that good. You know.
PBC has had better fights on regular TV that we've watched involving Thurman, Porter, and their
yeah.
Dominic
batch of
Brazil.
fighters.
Yep.
Yeah, there's been some better fights on regular TV. That's what's getting real like new fans in the sport, which we want because it's a great sport.
Yeah. So hopefully that changes. But Top Rank, I'm not really. The only thing actually I do like about Top Rank was Bob Arum called out Al Heyman at the end of that fight with Terence Crawford and Amir Khan. That might be the only positive light in regards to that fight. Did anyone else see that?
I
And their
saw that.
thoughts on
I
that?
saw it.
Post-fight
Wow.
interviews.
I want the old men to fight each other.
I mean, the post-fight interviews. Yeah.
Bob Arum needs to have like brass knuckles, though.
That could be an undercard. That could be an undercard for Errol Spence and
And
Terence Crawford.
he needs a robot. He needs a robot to fight for him because he's
Yeah.
real old.
Yeah, they
He's
should
real
both have
old.
robots. That would be raw. Have Elon Musk make those.
Brought to you by Elon Musk SpaceX.
That'd be raw. But I don't know. We'll see what happens. Hopefully they do make the fight because I know it's hard making fights when you're dealing with multiple promotional companies. But if it does happen, I think a lot of people will like it.
Yeah.
We'll see.
People's greed only gets in the way. Multiple different promotional
Yeah.
companies have been forced to interact in the past. These are just different little mini WWEs, WCWs, still different branches floating around, and they just got it's all one
Wrestling, a
sport.
little bit of wrestling.
It's all one sport. Boxing is a real sport. It's one sport, so there's no need to.
WCW, WWF.
Yeah.
It should be more like UFC, where you're forced to fight one another.
Yeah, there's no hiding. But the problem with boxing is there's too many
Communism.
sanctioning bodies. There's IBF, WBO, WBC. They all have their own world, basically. That's
And
what
the
makes
weight
it hard.
classes also. There's so many different belts.
Yeah, but lightweights are on fire right now. You got Lomachenko, Ryan Garcia, Gervonta Davis, Teofimo Lopez. That's a good weight class right now, lightweights.
That's
So
cool. I used to never be into
That kid is
lightweights.
tough.
There's a lot of guys. Which
yeah,
kid you're talking about, Harris?
The Teofimo Lopez.
He
yeah.
had
Kid
a
is tough.
What's your
fun
thoughts on that
fight,
guy?
fun knockout.
A lot of swag, a lot of moxie. I think the kid coming in with his father showing him the ropes, so that's a good, just like a senior.
I like the father connection as well. That's pretty
Good
cool.
combination.
Similar to Danny Garcia and his father.
Very eerily similar to
Eerily
Danny
similar.
Garcia's connection to his father,
Yeah.
which is there's a couple
Great
of
future,
shows
I think.
about
He's gonna have
that.
a great future.
Yeah,
As,
I like that. I like that flip at the end of his
as long as he keeps
knockout.
those flips coming, I think his future will be very bright.
Yeah, maybe he shouldn't do those so much later
Yeah.
on.
Yeah, maybe when he hits 30, he might want to slow down with those.
Maybe when he has yeah. I don't know if he should do that too much.
But yeah, we'll see what happens with that man. He had a great fight. He ate his opponent like he just ate this man.
Like a
He destroyed him.
piranha, like a fucking shark just ate him, stalked him.
Alive. Get him alive.
I think the scariest thing about this guy is I feel like he believes that he's gonna destroy everyone. He believes it, and he's been doing it so far. So we'll see what happens with him coming up in the
Yeah.
future because he
One
has a
more
lot of
thing.
potential as well.
One more thing about Lopez is like a young great athletes don't think as much, and when you got a boxer
Yeah.
like him that dangerous who doesn't
His
think as
backflip.
much, who doesn't think he could do backflips, he doesn't think as much. Those are the most dangerous fighters that nobody wants to fight. So good luck with him getting a big
Yeah.
big fight. He deserves it. The fans deserve it, but
Well, he said
boxers
he
don't
wants
want
to.
it.
He wants
They
to
don't
be the
want to
main
fight
event.
that guy.
He said
He
his
had
next fight
mo-
is a pay-per-view. That's what he said.
He's gonna have to beat up more tomato cans
He
because
had more of a
nobody wants.
personality than Crawford.
He
If Crawford
does.
had
He has
his
a cool
personality,
personality.
amazing.
I
He
think
has a
everyone
cool
has more.
personality. Yeah, Crawford's just dry as hell. He's just a fighter. He's just a fighter. He's a
Yeah.
fighter. He's a great fighter.
It's fine.
Don't take it away.
I don't want to take anything away from that guy, but again, in boxing, you do have to sell the fight a little bit, and he doesn't really do that.
There's so much more outside of the main event in
Yeah,
boxing.
we like to hear stories about struggles, fathers going to jail and getting out of jail, and coaching.
Started from the bottom.
And those are the best for some reason. I don't think it's a coincidence. Those seem to be the best fighters. Look at Danny Garcia. Look at some of these guys just straight up starting from nothing. So,
Yeah, that's the formula. Have your father go to prison first.
yeah. For some, that is.
Whoa.
Oh, hey, there's a. I don't even know what's going on, man. I'm just saying. No need. I'll put my hands up too.
Anyways,
Anything goes
United States
on the
has more
sweet
prisoners than
science.
anybody. There's a lot of prisoners.
with that said, I want to go
across
ahead
all ages.
and take the liberty to pretty much wrap this episode 1 up. Real quick, just like I did on the previous channel, but it got taken down. What is your expectations for the channel, and what's your words to our viewers out there before we end this bad boy?
I'll go ahead and I think this channel is gonna grow. We're gonna do a lot better. We're gonna keep taking in input from people, and it's great to have Alex on the show. Alex Harris, it's good to have him on the show participating. I think he's gonna bring a lot to the table. It's fun to just kind of check out fights from a slightly different perspective. We're talking culture and stuff. So I think this is going to be pretty good. We got a good channel, the Sweet Science TV.
The Sweet Science TV, and I just want to also state that real quick before we cut to Harris. With our previous channel, we had more views than Mario Lopez, and he started his channel the exact same day, and he had multiple videos up. So we were doing better than Mario Lopez, AC Slater, on our
That
old
channel was on fire, so we're gonna make
fire.
sure we're gonna get this channel up and running to match that
No more
That's that
spamming.
the momentum we had. We read the terms of
We,
service from YouTube.
yeah, I finally read those terms
So
and conditions, and we learned the hard way. Harris, what is your words for our viewers out there? What do you see for the future of this channel?
What I see is, firstly, we want to thank Apple channel. I definitely think it's a good decision to bring this decision, and just having me on here, what I know about boxing world, I think it's a great dynamic that all of us can add to. And yeah, I expect to grow. I mean, these shows grow exponentially now, so there's no telling who's watching.
Truth. There is no telling who's
Yeah, right.
watching.
So
Maybe Oscar De La Hoya took down our
what's
other
up?
channel. Who knows?
I think Oscar De La Hoya didn't like our criticism on his days in, and he didn't realize that we're supporting it, but we're gonna be critical on anything here. We don't side. We have no biases here.
Yeah, Oscar De La Hoya, he did get bashed a little bit, but that's
As
just
he
part of the
should.
commentary. Just keeping it real.
If we don't bash people, then what are we talking about, man?
You love your Oscar, buy us something.
Oscar De La Hoya is more than welcome to donate to
But
the
we're gonna
channel.
get better.
Yeah, we're
And
definitely gonna get better.
Woo!
we're gonna go ahead and dive into his Golden Boy promotions next week with that fight coming up with Canelo and Danny Jacobs, the Miracle Man as they call him. He defeated cancer,
I heard
so
he had cancer wrapped around his spine.
and it got unwrapped quickly. And now he's a world class boxer. So we'll get into that fight because it's coming up soon.
He reminded us of that countless amounts of time.
Oscar not only reminds us, but he's also produced shows on the Zone to remind us in detail
about the cancer.
About the cancer. But we'll get into that next week. So we'll go into that.
Yeah, one more thing to mention is that there's going to be a special produced by LeBron James about
the 40 for 40 or something like that.
LeBron James production.
Yeah, LeBron
James. I don't know if he knows the details.
Yeah, LeBron James is basically working with the Zone, producing a show leading up to the fight for them. I know LeBron gave Canelo some LeBrons today, and he seemed uninterested in the shoe, but touching gesture by LeBron.
I don't think Canelo really gave a shit. I don't think he cared.
Yeah, he didn't look interested. Ryan Garcia commented in the Instagram post that he wants the shoes, so he wants to get those. So he'll probably hook him up with those.
Little Ryan Garcia, always active on Instagram.
On IG.
Having a little fun. Little kid.
Yeah. Oh,
we should definitely talk about that.
We will. We'll get into that next week. But before I do end the video, last thing I want to mention is we will be giving away a glove, and it was signed by Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather.
Whoa.
So we're giving that up, and the way we're going to do it is we're going to take all our subscribers and then amongst them pick who wins at random. So it could be anyone at this point. So just make sure you subscribe to the channel so you get future updates as we upload new content. And, do yourself that favor of potentially just getting yourself a free memorabilia type item that is, honestly, in my opinion, deserves to be in Boxing Hall of Fame. That's just me.
Man, so. That's a great prize. Shoot, can I enter? I don't think we're allowed to enter.
You cannot.
But, damn. That's a good prize. So
we're hoping to get where they can follow us at?
Yeah, they can follow us at the Sweet Science TV. That's our channel on YouTube, the Sweet Science TV. If you're watching this, chances are we did spam you somehow and sent the link to you. Just subscribe from there. If you know someone who does like boxing, spread the word to them. Let them know the contest. Have them subscribe. Maybe they might win. If they are located in Chicago, I will deliver it personally to their home.
Otherwise, shipping, we'll work that out. We're not sure.
Yeah, if you're out of the north side neighborhood of Chicago, I'll ship it to you.
Oh, well, that's nice of you because I wasn't going to chip in for that.
Yeah. So we'll see who wins.
Robbie can deliver out south to Roseland.
If anybody's out in Wisconsin, I'll deliver it to you.
Yeah,
I'll
well,
find you.
the glove will make its way around the country. But that's pretty much it. That wraps it up. Any parting words?
Not too much. We're looking forward to the next show. We're gonna have more fights to cover. I want to cover obscure fights. We're gonna have different categories, and I think we're gonna work on chopping up some clips and have some extra stuff going on, as
Yeah,
well as the
maybe
contest,
maybe we'll also eventually get when it does get slow, because then boxing has its highs and its lows. So if it gets to a slow peak, we'll go ahead and maybe review some boxing films, some classics out there, and just
That'll
get
be
those
nice.
takes. Yeah,
We'll
a
go
little.
over some
Last
fights
word.
leading up to
Thanks
fights.
for
Yep.
having us. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for sharing in your Facebook page. And we're going to get better, guys. And the first episode will be better. You've seen how this works. So thanks for watching. And Ashley.
That's it. Deuce.
Sweet science.
Sweet Science TV.
Deuces.